this is David. I've been using PowerPoint for a long time to create presentation slides, and I want to share with you something that I've learned after years of using PowerPoint that I found really useful, and that's the selection pane. It's here, I've got this single slide here, and I've got the ribbon, the home ribbon, and hidden on the home ribbon right here under select is selection pane. And right here, you can see I've got a slide here. It's got a title, it's got this bullet points, it's got a rectangle and a square. Notice as I select each thing, like this picture, that it highlights it over here in the selection pane. I click the rectangle, it highlights the rectangle, and so on. There's a couple things I can do with this. One thing I can do is, you see these little icons that look like an eye? If I click the eye next to one of these objects, that object disappears from view. It's still on the slide, you just can't see it at all. Move the rectangle, remove this content placeholder, and so on. Click it again and they come back. That's not a big deal unless you have things that are overlapping like this. And now if I wanted to get to something behind it, it's really hard to do that without moving things out of the way. But what I can do is I can get rid of the picture and then get rid of the triangle and then move the electron and change that in some way. And once I'm done, then add these back. Now, the other thing I can do is that it may be useful, let's say that I had two triangles on here. And in order to figure out which one is which, sometimes it's hard to do because they would both be named something similar. Let's see, let's go triangle and just draw it right there. So this triangle and this triangle, they're called isosceles triangle 9 and isosceles triangle 4. That's not really very helpful. You know, I might want to say this one for example might represent you know, David, and this one might represent Daniel. And so maybe it makes sense to give them a more meaningful name. And I could do that by just double clicking or just press F2 when it's selected. I can call this one Daniel Triangle and give it a more meaningful name, something that just means something to me as I design the slide. And that can be helpful when I move this. All right, so that's cool, but is it really that powerful? In this case, not so much. However, I'll show you an example where it became really powerful. Here's a slide deck that I've done. I'm going to show you this one slide right here. It has a whole bunch of animations on here. You've got these little messages moving from these devices into this IoT hub, meant to indicate the flow of data into Azure through an IoT hub, and from that IoT hub into other things. So all these objects are on the screen. There are dozens of objects. There are dozens of animations on there. And if I click through it all, you can see it all. Well, what would happen? Let me close this off. I've got all these objects up here that represent a message. Supposing I just wanted to take one of them and alter the path. What happens is that if I look at the animation right here, you can see each one of these kind of goes to the same spot. Suppose I just wanted to grab one of these things right here, and instead of moving it here, I wanted to move it over to here instead. Well, it's really hard to grab that one right here. It's, you know, even if I zoom way in, that makes it really difficult. But what I've done is in my selection pane, I've given all these things a name, names, and if I select something in here for these messages, you'll see that it's highlighted. There's message 1A, 2A, 3A, and I've got a naming convention here. So message 1A came from device 1, for example, and so did message 1B, and so on. So I can do that, and if I really wanted to work just with that one, I could make, let's say I just want to work with message 1B, I can make message 1A disappear, and I don't know if I have a 1C in here. It looks like I do not, but I can make some of them disappear and now just deal with that one right there. Here's a better example out of the 5. I've got a whole bunch of 5s. Let's say I just wanted to work with 5C, then I can make 5B hidden, and I make 5A hidden. I know these are because of my naming convention, and now I see there's the one I want to work with. And if I bring back that animation pane now, there's that one. It's not cluttered with all these extra lines like that one was, and I can just grab that one line right there and say, you know what, I don't want that to go there. I want it to go up to the top of the IoT hub, for example. And now I'll make these things reappear again because I definitely want them to be part of my slide, and close this and show that slide, and now you'll see that all these things will go down here except for one of the ones that comes from device 5 will go off in some weird direction right there. And so that's really the power of this selection pane. And I think the reason that it took me so long to find it is it's really hidden right here. It's down on the home page under select, and it's called Selection Pane right here. So I hope this helps you to build more powerful applications and encourages you to do some really cool stuff with PowerPoint. This is David. Thank you for watching.